dump everything on it. All right, we are going to read a little of Flora and Ulysses. Who can tell me what happened the last time we read? Olivia. Going into a giant donut shop. Nothing bad could possibly happen with a squirrel in a donut shop. Let's find out. Chapter 29, Coochie Coo. The giant donut smelled like fried eggs and donuts in other people's closets. Ew. That does not sound appealing. The dining room was full of laughter and donut dunking. A waitress sat Flora and her father at a booth in the corner and handed them glossy, enormous menus. Flora removed the lid from the shoebox. Ulysses poked his head out and looked around the restaurant. And then he turned his attention to the menu. He stared at it with a dreamy look on his face. Get whatever you want, said Flora's father. Order your heart's desire. Ulysses emitted a happy sigh. Pay attention, whispered Flora. A waitress came and stood over them. She tapped her pencil on the pad. What can I get you, she said. Her name tag spelled out her name in capital letters. Rita. Flora narrowed her eyes. The exclamation point made Rita seem untrustworthy, or at the very least, insincere. Well, said Rita, what's it going to be? Her hair was piled up very, very high on her head. She looked like Marie Antoinette. Who knows who Marie Antoinette is? Someone from history. From a long time ago. She was the Queen of France. And back in the French Revolution, and they wore wigs that had huge piles of hair on top. So that is what she's envisioning. Marie Antoinette had a lot of hair. So Rita obviously has a lot of hair on top of her head. Helps you realize. Now, not that Flora had ever seen Marie Antoinette, but she had read about her in Terrible Things Can Happen to You, issue on the French Revolution. Marie Antoinette, from the little bit that Flora knew about her, would have made a very bad waitress. Flora suddenly remembered that she had a squirrel in her lap. She tapped Ulysses on the head again. Lie down, she whispered. But be prepared. She arranged the washcloth so that he was almost completely hidden. What you got there? Asked Rita. Where? Said Flora. In the box, said Rita. Got a baby doll in the box? Are you talking to your baby doll? Talking to my baby doll? Said Flora. She felt a flush of outrage crawl up her cheeks. For the love of Pete, she was 10 years old, almost 11. She knew how to administer CPR. She knew how to outwit an arch nemesis. She was acquainted with the profound importance of seal blubber. She was the sidekick to a superhero. Plus, she was a cynic. What self-respecting cynic would carry around a doll in a shoebox? I do not, said Flora, have a baby doll. Let me see her, said Rita. Don't be shy. She bent over, her big Marie Antoinette hair scraped against Flora's chin. No, said Flora. George Buckman, said Flora's father in a worried voice. How do you do? Coochie coo, said Rita. Flora felt a very pointed, very specific sense of doom. Uh-oh. Rita poked her pencil into the shoebox. Slowly. She pushed the washcloth around. Slowly. And then the washcloth, oh so slowly, fell back and revealed Ulysses' whiskered face. George Buckman, said her father in a much louder voice. How do you do? Rita screamed, a long and impossibly loud scream. Ulysses screamed in return, and then he leaped from the shoebox. At this point, things stopped proceeding at such a leisurely pace. The squirrel was airborne, and time swung back into action with a vengeance. At last, thought Flora, it's incandesto time. What does she mean by that? Does she think the squirrel is going to do something? This picture is the best. Yes. Well, let's find out. Chapter 30, Sunny Side Up. He had never been so frightened in his life. Never. The woman's face was monstrous. Her hair was monstrous. And the word on her name tag, Rita, appeared monstrous to him, too. Be calm, he told himself as she poked her pencil around. He held himself as still as he could. Who's talking right now? Who's telling the story? And what point of view are we hearing? Who is he, and who is the pencil being poked at in the box? Who is talking? McKenna. Yes, the squirrel. But then Rita screamed, and it was absolutely impossible not to answer her long, piercing shriek with a piercing shriek of his own. She screamed, he screamed. And then every one of his animal instincts kicked in. He acted without thinking. He tried to escape. He leaped from the box and ended up somehow exactly where he did not want to be, in the middle of the monstrous hair. Rita jumped up and down. She put her hands in her head. She swatted and clawed, trying to dislodge him. The harder she hit him, the higher she jumped, the more furiously the squirrel clung. In this way, Rita and Ulysses danced together around the giant donut. What's happening? Someone shouted. Oh dear. I will go around and show you the picture because the picture is pretty funny.
I remember this part in the movie.
Poor Ulysses. That is quite the hairdo.
Yeah.
Ulysses could actually make a nice little nest inside that hair. See him? On top of her head.
How long of hair does she have?
What's that?
Is she Rapunzel?
You know, she's got a lot of hair. Rapunzel, let your hair down.
Or maybe she did.
Oh, man. That is like a wicked hairdo. Her hair is on fire, someone answered. No, there's something in her hair, another person shouted. And it's alive! Ah! Screamed Rita. Help me! Now Ulysses wondered, how had things gone so wrong? Only moments ago, he had been looking at the giant donut menu, captivated by the glossy pictures of food and the dazzling descriptions that accompanied the pictures. There were giant donuts with sprinkles, giant donuts powdered, iced, giant donuts filled with things, jelly, cream, chocolate. He had never had a giant donut. Actually, he had never had any kind of donut. They looked delicious, all of them. How was the squirrel to choose? And to complicate matters, there were eggs, scrambled, poached, over easy, sunny side up. Sunny side up, thought Ulysses as he clung to Rita's hair. What a wonderful phrase. A man emerged from the kitchen. He had a gigantic white hat and was holding something metal that flashed in the overhead lights of the giant donut. It was a knife. Help me, screamed Rita. And me, thought Ulysses. Help me too. But he was quite certain that the man with the knife had no intention of helping him. Dun, dun, dun. That's where we're going to leave off. All right. Poor Ulysses, I know.
Yeah.
Poor thing. All right, social studies. What I need you to do is clear off your desk, if you haven't already,